Indoctrination is one of the most powerful forces we encounter as human beings. No matter who we are, we have been indoctrinated by somebody into something. A lot of the thoughts which we think are our own have actually been placed there by somebody. A lot of our moral values have been placed there by somebody. We were raised and trained to believe certain things and to think certain ways. And this is very, very difficult to escape. That is why this is such a powerful force, because it is incredibly difficult to escape. You don't even want to escape what you think it's you. So that's why indoctrination works so well. This phenomenon was recognized even by ancient philosophers like Plato, for example. In his Allegory of the Cave, Plato describes a situation which he tries to use to teach people about the power of indoctrination. So the short story is, there are people who grow up in a cave chained to a pole, right? And all they can do is see it right in front of them. And they grew up like that, and to them that is the reality. And behind them there are people walking and talking and carrying objects. And behind them there is a fire. So these people who can only look straight ahead in a cave, they can only see shadows, and they can hear them talk. So they think that is reality. So that is the first point that Plato makes. He says, let's assume this. And then he goes on, he talks about some things, and then he says, let's assume that one of these people escapes the cave, right? And he sees the fire. What's going to happen? Well, the fire is going to hurt his eyes, right? So the truth, when people look at the truth, it hurts their eyes. Because of your indoctrination, it hurts you to think that you might be wrong on something so fundamental and near and dear to you, which you think you came up with, but don't realize you were indoctrinated with it. And then he says, if this person looks long enough at the fire, then they will be able to adjust. The eyes will adjust to it, and they will see a whole different reality, right? Seeing the truth sometimes is very painful. And then he says, suppose now that this person who just looked at the fire goes out into the cave entrance and sees the sun. How much more will that hurt? And that, that is the greater good, the greater reality. And then he says, this is the most important part. He says, suppose this person comes back now and tries to tell the people who's value, they made it their value that whoever can name these shadows the best, that's the most valuable member of their society, the smartest person, right? And then a crazy person comes back and says, hey, look, man, I've been to the entrance of the cave. There's like a fireball in the sky. It's amazing, right? And what will these people do? Well, Plato says that they will probably ridicule that person and maybe even kill him. Now, consider what happened to every single time a prophet came. And consider what God talks about in the Quran about people who are stubborn and people who are blindly following their ancestors and all of that. There is so much truth to that, and this is why, because of indoctrination. It's one of the most powerful forces you will encounter in life. And part of its power is that you think that it's you. You got to look at everything. You got to read everything. You got to consider everything from every angle. You got to hear both sides of the story. You have to read everything for yourself. When it comes to religious thought, read the primary sources first before you believe anything. And you will see. In any case, all of us have been indoctrinated in something. Plato tried to explain this to us and warn us about this thousands of years ago, and people have been thinking about this and knowing about this forever. But the thing is, it's very, very difficult to show people that they have been indoctrinated. So this is why the prophets failed so often. Peace.